Hi everyone, before we start today's podcast, I want to give a quick warning. For the first 2 minutes, minute and a half, the audio is a little messed up because my phone accidentally connected to Max's car speaker, and then we couldn't really wait to talk about this movie, obviously. So for the first 15 minutes we're in a car, but you can still pretty clearly hear what we're saying. But if you don't want to listen to us sounding like we're maybe coming to you from a bunker, you can either skip the first minute or 15 minutes or none. That's up to you. So, yeah, here you go.
Welcome to the Dillweed Society Film Podcast. My name is Max, and my favorite movie is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, my favorite movie is Chef by John Favreau.
Hi, my name is Isabella, and my favorite movie is Inside Llewyn Davis. Right, team, what did we just see?
Literally just got out of the theater for Nope, the newest Jordan Peele feature. Jordan Peele, he made his debut with the film Get Out, and followed it up with the horror film Us, coming to us again with a third film. I think they were a little mysterious about advertising what this movie was about.
Yeah, I think that was a good thing. I don't remember seeing much about it other than the cloud with the thing coming out of it. And so I think we're going to have a section for spoilers, I think. But we're going to push it off a little bit because I don't think you should know much going to see this movie.
I agree.
But everyone said their initial thought.
What do you think, Teddy?
What did you say when you came out to see it?
I need 3 words. It was...
I liked it.
I thought it was good. I enjoyed unfolding what the movie was about.
Yeah, I didn't know hardly anything before going into this. I actually, started listening to a different podcast, talking about it, and I had to stop it because I was like, I don't want to know. But I knew that it was getting really good reviews. My roommate messaged me that she really liked it. And I didn't see Us because I was too creeped out. But this movie also stars Daniel Kaluuya, who's in Get Out.
Yes.
And Keke Palmer, who I thought was great in this.
Bro,
I feel like
best.
I haven't seen her in so many years in a movie. Anyway, so they play brother and sister in this movie. First off, I think their sibling dynamic was killer.
Perfect.
Yeah, it was great. I totally believed it. I don't know the actor who plays the tech guy. He was really good in this. I thought he was really funny. I laughed so much at the dialogue. Oh, okay. If we're talking about technical aspects of this film that we really liked, I loved the color palette of the entire film because it's set on a ranch. We didn't say this. Basically, Daniel Kaluuya and Keke Palmer's characters are brother and sister. They work on a farm, a horse farm.
Yeah.
And they rent out their horses for entertainment companies. And because they're descendants of... It's the first animation.
Do all 4 legs of the horse get off the ground while it's galloping? That was the original reason why motion pictures were created.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, so they set up 10 or 12 cameras along a track and had them go off at the speed the horse was running. Yeah. To see if all 4 of its legs ever went off the ground.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they work on that farm with the horses, right? And something's afoot on the farm. You're not exactly sure what, but you kind of find out as the movie goes on. I don't want to say anything.
Yeah. Is this the spoiler wall? Are we gonna...
No, not
okay,
yet, bro.
Yeah.
We have so much to talk about.
Yeah.
First of all, if you're thinking about seeing this movie, see it because it's really fucking cool. Anyway, the color grading is this. It's set in a desert, which is what I was getting at. So it's tan and you know what I'm saying? The color of sand.
It's almost like sepia. Everything is skin tone, basically.
Okay. Everything on the screen is sepia, but there's no sepia filter because they have these accent colors of carnival rainbow that appears throughout the movie in their clothes, in the literal carnivals, in the flags that they use. It shows up, so it's very, I don't know, it pulls you into the present, and I feel it makes you very intrigued because when you see a movie that's set in the West, you're typically thinking of sepia tones, but it throws you off and you're okay, something's weird. Also, I love the settings of this movie too because I don't know, there's something about old-timey small town tourist traps that really get me. I want to know more.
But it's not that far out of LA is the thing, right?
It's not, yeah.
It's in the rural, area a little bit out of the city.
Yeah, but what's it called? The little ranch thing that Steven Yeun's character.
Yeah, the fake ranch.
Yeah, it's like a fake ranch.
Like, he's clearly not like a cowboy. He's just like some...
It's a tourist trap.
Child actor who... Yeah, it's a tourist trap.
Yeah, and I think that's like inherently a creepy setting.
It is creepy.
For a movie.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
Yeah. He sort of explored that feeling at the beginning of Us. So you haven't seen Us.
No.
But the beginning of Us is at
I've seen y'all. Sorry.
A carnival. It's at like a beach carnival, and the main character is a child who gets lost at it. That's like the first scene in Us.
Yeah.
And I think that was like it's a very similar feeling to like being lost. The main character, Daniel Kaluuya, at the beginning of this movie, when he's walking around that carnival, the like fake ranch place that Steven Yeun owns.
Well, the intro scene to this it's like the first scene. I don't know if it's spoilers. Do you have anything non-spoiler to say before we go into it?
On top of the 3 actors that we've talked about so far, I think Steven Yeun did a really good job in this movie. Yeah. I love him so much. I mean, he's in Minari. He is like perfect. But he in this was very fun to watch. Every single character, I think, really shines.
Yeah.
And it's so limited that...
Bro, that fucking... Okay, I don't want to get into it too much, but... is this the cutoff?
Yeah, I think that's it. So go see the movie, I would say, and then come back and listen to us talk about it. It is one of those movies that I would say is a lot more fun to watch, I would guess, without knowing anything about it than knowing a lot about it. It's not super scary.
It's a little scary, but like it's not...
It's not a horror film.
I hate horror, and I was able to watch it.
It's less scary than Get Out.
Bro, but the other character I was going to mention was the cinematographer. I noticed, like, throughout the film, there was this theme of, like, wanting to get the perfect shot. I mean, that's the entire plot point of the second half of the movie, is, like, they're trying to get the perfect shot of this UFO.
Yeah.
And so there's that guy that comes on the ranch with the helmet. Anyway. We'll get into that in a second. But the movie starts out with the monkey scene. Do you remember that?
I remember.
Yeah.
It starts out with the audio over the like Universal logo.
That's true.
It has the audio from that scene in it from what is it, Gordy's World?
Yeah, Gordy's something. Yeah.
Yeah, Gordy's house or something like that. And you're like, what is going on? Is this Family Ties? Like, it was like hard to, I knew it was some 80s TV show because that's what it sounded like.
Yeah.
They did a really good job of making it seem like a show that that could have existed. Like, I thought I heard...
The line delivery was great.
I agree. And the audio processing and also the cinematography in those flashbacks, like, it looks very 70s. It reminds me a little bit of the cinematography for The French Dispatch, but the third act of The French Dispatch with the guy who's supposed to be James Baldwin.
Okay.
Like, all of that has color grading that makes it feel very 80s because I think they were either using film that was used prevalently in the 1980s or they just like tried to recreate that. Okay. And they did the same thing in this for those flashbacks. But yeah, it starts out with basically just a frame of a monkey covered in blood leaning over a limp child's body.
Well, okay, so we don't see much, but we come to, like, from that first shot, we get one thing. We get the idea that this monkey, or this chimpanzee, went ape. You know what I mean? Like, it killed everyone.
Yeah.
And then we learn that Steven Yeun's character, as a child, worked on that show, and he remembers seeing that, so we're seeing it from his perspective.
And there's this thing that they don't tell you, but they show you, which is that this is the most traumatic thing that's ever happened to him. And he can't tell anybody that he was traumatized by it.
Like, when they come meet with him later, 20 minutes into the movie, Keke Palmer's character is, like, pressing him to be like, okay, but what actually happened? Like, I don't really understand. He's like, well, that SNL skit really got it spot on. Like, he can't bring himself to actually say what happened.
But when she brings it up, he flashes back to the experience.
But he kept the shoe.
Right.
Also, that was so creepy how it was standing up like that.
Right.
What was that?
I think that every single Jordan Peele movie has all of these, like, thematic connections between the different story arcs.
Yeah.
And I think that the shoe standing up is kind of, it's relating to the intelligence of animals, you know, or like their ability to do things which are superhuman.
Yeah.
Because even this girl's shoe is like standing on its toe or on its heel.
There's a spot of blood on the shoe, and it's pointed directly at Steven Yeun's character as a child.
Right. And this exploration of animals and their intelligence and their superhuman abilities is sort of hinted at through that. But it's very, I don't think that it has one meaning, the shoe, because there's also, the shoe is sort of reminiscent of an eye staring at you.
That's what I was thinking, with the blood?
With the blood.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that there's probably a lot of different things.
So, like, throughout the movie, it's basically just like a horror sequence, like, where things happen, like, a few more things happen, and then you're like, okay, what's their mission? And their mission is to get the perfect shot. Mm-hmm. And because they have these connections through their, like, great-great-great-grandfather, they're able to meet up with this famous cinematographer who was working on the shoot that was, like, the first shoot that Daniel Kaluuya's character was at.
Right.
You know what else I noticed, though, about her speech that she gives at that thing?
Yeah, what did you notice?
Okay, so later in the movie, she's watching back a tape of her father doing that exact same speech, and he says, great-great-grandfather, because it's his great-great-grandfather. And so she's repeating exactly the same words that he says, but she forgets one more great because it's her, like, it's one more. She's his daughter. She's
imitating him.
She's imitating him, and he just passed away. So she's, like, so connected to her father. I think there's something else about, like, about grief. We're not really clued into what happened to their mom, really, or even their relationship with their father, but I don't know, I think maybe there's something there.
I'd like to explore that more. The second scene of the movie is the father dying.
Yeah.
Right.
Like he's on the farm and he gets hit by a nickel. Who's on the nickel? Is it
Thomas Jefferson?
Is Jefferson on
I'm pretty sure Thomas Jefferson is on the nickel.
Or was it a quarter?
It was a nickel, definitely.
Okay.
Because it was only 5 cents, and I was like, imagine getting killed by 5 cents.
Yeah.
But they say that it had fallen out of a plane and hit him in the face.
In the eye.
In the eye, right, and killed him. I'm so glad that, like, that reveal in the middle of the movie, when you realize, oh my god, it didn't fall out of a plane.
Or even a UFO.
Or a UFO. It fell out of, like...
A mouth.
A mouth, right.
Yeah,
when the key falls on the banister outside the house, and then a quarter or a nickel falls right next to it, and then it just, like, cuts away. I think that was, like, for everyone who hasn't gotten it already, I'm just showing you were lied to.
I think part of it, like, at a certain point, felt like Jordan Peele had an interaction with the cinematographer who was really snobby. And he's contrasted to the TMZ reporter who would literally, as he's dying, he's like, give me my camera.
Take a picture of me.
Which I thought was a little on the nose.
Yeah, it was
I would
very
say
angry.
Like, I get it. I thought it was funny, you know? This fucking, like, caricature of a cinematographer is like, he's, like, going up on the mountain, he's willing to die for the shot.
And did they even get the
No,
video?
because he swallowed a whole.
Exactly.
Yeah, which is why, at the end, she has to use the freaking well that we saw earlier to take the photo.
Yeah.
To get the shot.
No one would actually believe that was the shot. That, like, that
what?
was...
Why?
It's... Because it's not video, and it's...
But it's... Okay, you know what I did notice, though? It's a sequence of photos. It's stop motion, like her great-grandfather's on the horse.
That's
oh my
true.
God.
That's
it was
true.
like, if you play those in a sequence, it would be like what they've based their entire career on.
Oh, and also... the original horse video, they don't mention this in the movie, but the original horse video was, like, investigating animal behavior to see what animals do.
Right.
And that's, like, the end of this movie too, is like, what is this monster doing?
Right.
We didn't mention, it's a alien movie. It's an
if you haven't gotten that, well, you've probably seen it.
Hopefully
you've seen this movie, so you understand that it's a UFO/alien movie.
Yeah.
What'd you say? You were explaining the scenes.
Oh, I was just going through, like...
What happened,
what happened in the movie, and what we were talking about how comedic it is. Like, Teddy does not laugh very often. Teddy's our brother, for anyone listening.
You might have heard him a little bit in the pod.
He's no longer in the room. But Teddy was, like, laughing at that scene.
Which one, when she was performing?
When the woman was like, your name's OJ?
Mm-hmm. Right, even the fact that he made his name OJ, Jordan Peele wrote this and was like, you know, it'd be funny if we made his name OJ. Because his name is Otis Jr., because his dad's name's Otis.
Right.
Because at the end, they literally say, like, oh, OJ's making a run for it, you know? Because you get used to them saying, like, his name's OJ, because we, you know, whenever everyone says that name, we know, like, you know who we think of, so.
Right.
What else happens in that scene?
The horse.
So we get to learn what, like, sets animals off is, like, seeing themselves in a reflection.
Mm-hmm.
Or seeing other people look them in the eye, you know?
Right. Those are the two things that, like, get the horse really riled up. And no one's, like, respecting the horse in that scene.
Or him.
They're
like, roll it. Like, they don't even treat him like a human.
He asks her to step away from the horse.
Yeah.
And she responds,
What's
they told me
his
to be
name?
here.
They told me to be here, and what's his name? And he's like, Lucky. And she's like, Is he? And he's trying to get his sister's attention from across the room. And then the horse has a freak out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the first title card we get. Is right before this.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the title cards, because I was very confused. Because at first they were the horse's name, the chimp's name.
And I thought at first that it was like it was always someone who died.
Then they also do that with the chimpanzee.
Mm-hmm. And the chimp does die at the end of that scene.
The chimp does die, yes, but it's killed by a human, we assume.
Mm-hmm.
Like, shot in the back by a gun. I don't know, like, it split up the movie in a really weird way. I was like, how would it be without the title cards, you know? Like, what's their purpose?
Right. The thing that they're reminiscent of is the movie from last year, The Power of the Dog, right? And the thing that I think they do similarly is that they serve to create little vignettes within the larger story. All of the story is connected, but each of the vignettes is like a chapter, essentially.
That's what I got, like, to thinking. But Power of the Dog was a book first, and so maybe this was just, like, written as a book, kind of.
Mm-hmm. But I think they function similarly, don't you?
Yeah.
And they serve as a lead-in for this pacing thing that I didn't want to talk about before the spoiler wall,
mm-hmm.
which is that, like, I did not know what this movie was trying to do for, like, the majority of it, and I was just having a good time watching it.
Yeah.
You know? Like, it's only until the last act of the movie, probably the last 40 minutes, that they have a goal in mind.
That's true. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, so they're just, like, exploring. It really takes its time and
mm-hmm.
doesn't give them, like, a desire which they're chasing after for the whole movie. It's more, like, exploratory. And I thought that was really... It was a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
In movies that often beat you over the head with, like, this thing is so important.
Right. Like, we don't really understand the importance of why they need... It's not, like, in the forefront of this movie. They say, like, they'll get money from getting this money shot. And then they're like, we can't leave because then someone else will just come in and take it. Like, we have to be the ones to get this shot. Like, that's just, like, a throwaway line. Like, it's not their main intentions. Like, I feel like for the majority of the film, like, starting out, we're just learning about these characters and, like, eerie things happen. Like, you know this is a horror film because you know it's Jordan Peele film. But it's building up the suspense because you're just getting to know these characters, getting to know their backstories. But also there's always something weird that happens.
Right.
And I think the fact that Steven Yeun's character, like, runs this tourist trap about UFOs, like, I don't know.
So did Steven Yeun know about the alien?
That's what I was trying to figure out. I was like, maybe
he's been feeding it.
He's been feeding
all the horses
it.
That he's been buying from
right.
OJ.
Right, and then they found the source. But why didn't he say anything? Like, he wasn't really acting strange.
He wasn't recording it and publishing it. I don't know.
He was using it to get customers.
Yeah.
So, I guess there's that, but...
I think he definitely was, because when they first see the alien, it's during a show at night. Remember?
Yes, that's true. Okay, yeah, so he must have been feeding this alien.
And that's why it like keeps coming back to this one place, is because he was continually feeding it.
That's okay. So at the show at the end, he's like accidentally says over his microphone, he's like, they're early, and then his wife is like, oh, they're giving a real show today. Like, she corrected him and be like, go with it. Like, these are unpredictable. Like, and then he says, trained animals are unpredictable. He says that, and it's like he's talking about both the UFO and the horse
and the monkey.
And the monkey. Oh my god.
That's like the thesis of the film.
Yes.
It's like trained animals are unpredictable.
Mm-hmm. Trained animals are still animals.
You can see the fear, you know, when...
It's like Tiger King.
It's like Tiger King.
No, I'm just joke. I don't know.
But you can see the fear in his eyes when it doesn't go according to plan, when the alien shows up a little early. Of course, he still thinks that that it's a ship.
Right.
Ooh. Yeah. We should talk about the design.
Of the alien. I was like, it makes sense. Like, walking out of the theater, Teddy was like, I believe in aliens. I'm like, yeah, it just makes sense. Like, why would we think that they would be in a ship form? Why wouldn't they just be an alien that's shaped like a disc? Like, you know what I mean? It's shaped like what we understand as a UFO. But its entire body is just an alien.
Yeah.
It's a giant monster.
Like, I guess, how is it flying is a big question. And it also makes it seem more likely that it's not an alien, but some, like, terrestrial animal that is just really good at hiding itself. You know?
It feels like a giant stingray that can fly through air.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
I loved how it had skin.
It had skin, and the end, when it went into its full form at the end, it was so beautiful. Like, it really was. Like, it was like fabric in the wind, and it looked, honestly, like heavenly, you know?
Angelic, yeah.
Yeah. The fact that his name was Angel, oh my god, I don't know what that means, but his name was Angel, the tech guy.
Oh, the tech guy's name was Angel.
Yeah. I don't know what it means, but I thought he was really funny.
I thought he was really funny, too. The way that he was, like, spying on them, because he just believed in aliens.
He was spying, and then also, when he gets there, like, I was kind of mentioning before, like, throughout the first half of the film, there's, like, weird things that happen, but are just, like, you brush them off as normal.
Yeah.
And he, like, immediately screams when he gets out of the freaking vehicle at the ranch. And he's just like, oh, guys, I'm sorry. I just got out of a long-term relationship. And then he just, like, screams, like, really loud. And they're like, dude, what
Don't
the
do
fuck?
that.
Don't do that.
You don't live here.
Don't do that. And, yeah, I thought it was really funny. But there's, like, all these, like, little things that keep piling up. That it's just a little bit strange, you know?
Yeah. That's so true. Yeah, it's not strange enough, and it doesn't put a pin on it enough for it to be, like, something worth talking about.
Yeah.
Which really gives the characters more time to be friendly, or, like, to develop themselves.
Yeah.
And their relationships with each other without, like, having something that they're stressed about or that they're, like, obsessed with for plot reasons. He's such a good writer.
He really is. Like, I cannot stress his impact on, like, the horror genre, I think. Or the thriller genre. What else in the movie? Okay, so after we understand Stephen Yeun's character and we see his flashback with Gordy.
Mm-hmm. We see the full experience, the Gordy experience. Like, the full
Yeah, we
scene.
do see the full scene. But it's still pretty shielded, I think. I don't know what it says about Gordy, like, reaching out
and trying to fist bump him at the end.
Yeah, like, I don't know.
Yeah, like, does Gordy understand? It looks like Gordy doesn't understand what he's doing.
Yeah, it does, because he, like, kicks the girl's foot and is like, are you asleep?
Right.
When he just literally,
like,
knocked her head off.
Her face off.
But she's still alive because she was at the end, bro.
That was so
I was like,
gross.
how is she still alive? I mean, it was gross what Gordy did. I feel bad for her.
Yeah. No, it's just, yeah, it's like...
It's just, like, scary because she's, like, half her face is torn off, but it's all healed, and it's, like, creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy that she gets, like, she gets two scenes, and in both of them she gets eaten by, like, an animal.
Bad luck.
Bad luck.
Yeah, so we see the entire Gordy thing. You know what I was thinking about, though?
Mm-hmm.
Like, in a lot of horror films with, like something that you're not allowed to look at, right? Typically, like, I would think, like, you never see it with the camera, because the camera is like the body of the audience put into the film. Like, this film doesn't shy away from like showing you what it looks like, you know, like it builds up to it, but you do see, like, you see the insides of it, you know. I was just thinking about how, like, we're getting the money shot, you know what I mean? Like, we see the money shots throughout the film that they're trying to get before they get them. And I don't know if that was a good or bad thing, but I don't know. It's interesting.
Do you think that is like emphasized in the film, or that's something that we're supposed to, or that you're intended to take away from it?
I don't know. I was just thinking about it because we could see so clearly the alien, and like
we see what they never get to see, which is that it's literally eating people. Yeah.
And oh my god, when you can hear their screams when it's like over you, I thought like the suspense building and the fact that it like throws up on the house.
It's
that
like
was such
raining
a cool.
blood.
It was raining blood. It was such a cool shot.
So cool.
Oh, and we didn't mention when the kids who worked at Steven Yeun's ranch like went to go scare OJ, and then oh my god, that was like really scary at first because they're trying to look like aliens, but they play a prank on the neighbor because they're just little kids, and he grabs his phone and he starts recording them. You know what I mean? Like, that's something that I was thinking about. I was like, why can't they just grab their phone? Oh, because it turns off.
It turns off all of the electricity near them.
Oh my god, that's another thing. Okay, so I thought it was such a creative move to have those like those like car stand things. You know, like, that they have at car dealerships. Oh,
the blow-up people. That wave in the wind.
I don't know what they're called. But they set those up all across the ranch to see when the power goes out.
Yeah.
That was such a good way to show that.
Yeah.
You know? It was so creative.
Right.
And it adds, like, a pop of color. Like, I don't know. I loved it.
It made for a really memorable, like, visual. Yeah, of the movie. Like, I could totally imagine seeing, like a big field with a bunch of those, like, vertical lines and being like, oh, that's a reference to
Nope. Yeah,
to Nope. Exactly. Like, it's
and the flags coming out of the cloud. I mean, that's the poster for this movie, but like, it's such a beautiful visual. I think it's eerie enough, but it's also intriguing enough to make you want to be like, what is that? Right.
It's unique. It's like, it has a good like outline to it. Yeah, it's just very striking.
How many times in this movie did they say the title? I'll be honest, I said the title while watching the movie. Because, like, that's kind of the joke with it. It's like, you see something like that, you're like, nope, like, stay away. Like, nope, that's not for me. But they did say it quite a few times to the point where I was like, like, maybe you shouldn't have said that. I don't know.
There were a couple lines where it was, like, a little corny like that. There was, there was the one that's like, you're not saying what I think you're saying.
Oh, yeah.
That's like one of the like, guys, it's right behind me.
It's right behind me, isn't it? Yeah, it's a little cheesy, but like...
Overall, the characters felt super real. Like, the sibling dynamic felt very
real. You know, you could really feel that at the end, too, because they need to, like... They use that beginning flashback of them when they sell her horse or whatever. He, as a child, looks at her as a child, and it's like...
Like, I see you.
Yeah, I see you motion. And they do that at the end. They call back to it. I'm like, aw, how sweet. They have to, like, just trust each other. And then when he shows up at the carnival, and he's like, the dust passes. Wait. What? Whoa, go ahead. What?
O.J. Simpson was in a Bronco when he was driving away from the police.
It's a Bronco chase. Yeah, I know. He's on a Bronco. And he's running away. Dude, that's what I was saying. I was like, OJ's making a run for it.
I didn't get that other connection. Yeah. But he was on a Bronco.
Bruh. All for a stupid joke.
It's a pun that, like, half the people aren't going to get.
No, I think people get it. But it's also, like, you know, I don't know.
I mean, I wouldn't have gotten it if we hadn't had this discussion. The Bronco connection.
Yeah.
Yeah. And especially because it was, like, 25 years ago.
True.
Jordan Peele must have been, like 15 when that happened.
Really? How old is he?
Less than 50.
Yeah, but it was in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm guessing he was born in 82. So he might have been like 10, 12.
Yeah.
But that's like your formative years, you know, you remember that. Oh, that was funny.
Yeah.
What's her name in the movie? I can't even remember. Oh, it's, I can like hear him like calling her name from across. It starts with an E.
What's her name?
Her name. I never know anyone's names in movies, and it's kind of.
It's like, oh yeah, Keke Palmer.
Oh yeah, Keke Palmer. I wouldn't know a thing. Emerald. Oh yeah,
Emerald.
yeah. I knew it started with the freaking E, bro. I can hear him like M, like, you know.
Yeah.
Oh my god. What was Steven Yeun's name?
I don't remember. I liked his outfit though.
His cowboy outfit?
It's very like retro. It's like a person trying to look like a cowboy, because it's not even California cowboy attire. It's like Texas cowboy attire. He's wearing a bolo tie. He's clearly like someone who grew up in California who's playing the character of a cowboy.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
In my brain when I was watching this movie, I was like, don't look up, and I'm like, this is literally Don't Look Up. It's Don't Look Up, but it's
better
like
Don't Look Up.
Don't Look Up sucks. Yeah, and this was like literally like this could be called Don't Look Up. Bro, the synopsis for this movie is it says residents in a lonely gulch of inland California bear witness to an uncanny, chilling discovery. It's very like
they don't want you to know.
They don't want you to know. Like that's part of it, and I think that's great. And the tagline for this movie is "What's a bad miracle?" Do we ever find out what happens to their mom?
No, she's never mentioned.
There's a picture of her on the wall that Emerald looks at.
Oh. Huh. Yeah, I don't think we ever do. What were the names of the horses again?
Lucky was one of them.
Yeah.
Trigger was one.
Trigger was the first one to get got.
Trigger was the first one to get got, and then I think the horses. I think all the names in this have like some type of meaning, though.
Yeah.
So, okay, so these are the chapter names.
Oh, okay.
So the chapter names are, in order, Ghost, which is the first horse, I think.
The white horse that just disappears in the middle of the night.
Yeah. It's like a ghost. Lucky, which gets lucky because he survives.
Mm-hmm.
Clover, Gordy, and Jean Jacket.
So Gordy is the
monkey.
The monkey who gets killed by a human. Like they're all getting abducted or killed by something that's smarter than they are, or that's like more powerful than they are.
Well, what do you think about like the death of the big monster at the end? Like,
does it die?
It got blown up.
Yeah, I don't know if it died.
But I feel like it's hard for me to believe that it died because, you know, it's an alien, you know.
Right, exactly.
How could getting blown up hurt an alien?
It's like, yeah.
But it gets killed by, it's like a giant blow up of balloon of, like a cowboy. That's like winking and pointing like a finger gun at him. And that's like, it's so kitschy, and then it eats it and blows up. It was very beautiful though. I will say, like, for the amount of talk in this movie about hating cinematographers, I don't know, the cinematographer did a really good job in this movie. I think Jordan Peele is like, likes to poke fun at people in the industry.
Yeah.
Good on him for doing that, because, you know,
There's
it takes a lot of guts. There's a lot to make fun of, yeah, I know. And like the making fun of the TMZ reporters too. And there's something about like reporters that they're talking about in this movie too, because at the end, even when like right after it explodes, Emerald is like laying next to the well, right?
Right.
And she's like all distressed, and we see a bunch of reporters come up
and like try to record her from over the police line. So
there's something about like that need to take photos, that need to like get the shot to like record something, to show it to other people, and the fact that this monster turns off the ability for you to do that, and humans' connection to that, like it's kind of like taking that away from people.
And not wanting to be viewed. The monster doesn't want to be seen. It doesn't want to be watched, and it stops people from recording it. But they're trying to record it against its own will. Its own will,
yeah. It doesn't even want to be looked at. If you look at it, it will go after you. There's something so human about seeing something weird in the sky and looking at it. Because whenever you like hear stories about UFOs, you're like, oh, look up, there's a UFO. Like, we're gonna look up at it, and we're not gonna look away. So there's something about monsters going after you for doing that. That's really
it's like thematically really good. It's a lot less scary than his other two movies.
It's a lot more gory, I would say, but it's not really that scary.
Not than Us.
Yeah, I didn't see Us.
I think that Us was like where Get Out was like a thriller and Us was a horror movie. This was more of like an alien, like storm chasers like type thing. You know? Like, there was scary stuff in it that happened, but I don't think that any of it was, like, terrifying or intended, or that terrifying the audience was a goal of the movie. Yeah, I don't think it can have been, because, like, they didn't lean into, like, music as a form of fear in this movie very much.
Yeah.
The worst thing that they did in terms of audio, like scaring people, was cutting out the audio before like frightening moments.
Yeah, or like they'll use the audio as like a very loud thing that'll scare you and it'll startle you because you're so used to the quietness.
Right.
Like the radio in that guy's car goes off. For a second I was like, are they going to use the car as a decoy? Because I didn't understand entirely how the monster worked at that point, and I was like, oh, is it attracted to sound? Like, I was thinking about that. The entire movie, though, I was like, okay, this monster shuts off technology. It shuts off the internet, and, like, it shuts off your availability to electricity. They're on a horse farm. When are they going to start riding some horses? And I'm so glad that was in the finale. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it was a horse and a motorcycle, like in RRR. What is it in RRR? Is it also a horse and a motorcycle?
It's also a horse and a motorcycle.
Bro, connections. Anyway.
Unbeatable duo. Horse and motorcycle.
Do you have any other things to say about Nope?
I'm sure that I will come up with a lot of other things to say in the next week.
Yeah, well.
But as it is now, do you have anything else to say?
I don't think so. Go see this movie if you've listened to this entire podcast and you haven't
probably
seen
still
it.
Good, but
it's gonna be still good. You know, it's a fun watch, and I think it's gonna be up for quite a few things.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It's a really enjoyable, light horror movie, if you can imagine that.
Yeah, it's like...
It's not going to leave you devastated.
Nope.
The way that, like...
I just said the title. Sorry.
The way that, like, his other movies do, or the way that, like, a
Yeah.
normal horror movie would.
Right. It's very... I think a lot of people are hating on this a little bit because of... They expect so much of Jordan Peele and want, like, major commentary out of his movies. But I'm like, let the man just make a fun horror movie, you know?
Honestly.
Like... And I think he says what he wants to say in this movie, but his writing carries through. Like, it works. He's just a really talented writer, and I think especially with horror movies. So go see this movie. Max, did you give this a rating?
I think that I would give this 4 stars.
Okay. Out of 5. Yeah.
Out of 5. Yeah. When I walked out, I thought 3.5, but I think I would give it 4.
Bro.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like it more the more I think about it.
Yeah.
What would you give it?
I was in between 4.5 and a 5, but I've only seen this movie once, so I'm gonna give it a 4.5. But I thought it was fun, enjoyable. I was smiling most of the time. I had my eyes like half covered, but I laughed a lot. I loved the color palette. It was beautiful to watch.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really like it. I would see it again. You know?
I should probably see it again before the award season comes up.
Yeah, I think it would definitely benefit from a double watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Nope.
That's Nope.
Go see it.
Go see it.
Hi everyone, I wanted to remind you all that our website is being updated with information about new movies coming out and our podcast episodes. You can also read about how to become associate to nominate and vote on movies this year. Remember, the ceremony's in February, but nominations and voting starts December through January. Of course, if you're associate, you'll be emailed reminders of those dates and all the information you could ever need, but you can find us at dillweedsociety.com, at Dillweed Society on Twitter and Instagram. Please get in contact with us if you want to be featured on the pod through our email, dillweedsociety@gmail.com, and feel free to share the pod with your film friends or give us feedback. We'd love to hear from you. If you're listening on Spotify, you can give us a rating if you'd like, or write a review on Apple Pods, but we thank you dearly from the bottom of our hearts for simply listening and being a part of this with us. Now, back to the pod.
Yeah, what would you give his other movies?
Well, I've only ever seen Get Out.
Oh, okay. What would you give Get Out?
A 5. I think I've already rated it a 5.
I think it's a 5 movie.
Yeah, I think everyone... It's like one of the top rated movies on Letterboxd.
It's like Parasite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's perfect.
You should watch Us. It's very scary. I would not watch it if you're going to be alone in a house anytime soon.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it.
Dang, Jordan Peele's filmography is 3.
It's only 3, and it's like 3 bangers.
Yeah.
I really like ContraPoints' video on Envy. She talks about Us in it, and she does like an analysis of Envy through Us that I think was the best like analysis or use of that movie for societal analysis that I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
I think that it's worth watching just for that reason. Did I really say that my favorite movie is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie?
No, you didn't say that.
I did say that earlier.
No, you didn't.
At the beginning of this?
You said, "Hi, my name is Max. My favorite movie is
Teenage Mutant."
I didn't even hear what you said. Do you really like that movie? No. I've never even seen that movie.
It's been a long time since I've seen it.
Bruh.
I was like, oh god, we're recording already. I need to say a movie, and it was the first thing that came into my head.
I was like trying to think of. Well, I have so many favorite movies. So I think we're gonna go for 2 TV shows again for recommendations, because we're running low.
Mm-hmm.
I watched the TV show The Pursuit of Love with Andrew Scott and Lily. What's her name? Lily James. It's actually like not a great show, but it has some interesting. Like, I was intrigued. It's a period piece, and that's not really my thing. It intrigued me. It's only 3 episodes. It's on Amazon. Maybe someone who likes period pieces more would find it more interesting. But it does have Andrew Scott, and I love Andrew Scott, so
yeah,
pretty good.
I am giving an unqualified recommendation for Our Flag Means Death, directed by Taika Waititi. This is a pirate TV show based on a true story of Stede Bonnet, the gentleman pirate, and his friendship with Blackbeard. It is incredibly funny. The first episode alone will hook you, or you'll know at least if you want to watch it. Seeing like an incompetent pirate attempt to not get killed by mutiny and also learn to become a good pirate is a lot of fun, and the characters are enjoyable to watch. I totally recommend it.
So what's up, Teddy? Give us your thoughts on
Yeah, what'd you think? Give it a rating out of 5.
Out of 5. Okay, Teddy's doing an interpretive dance. Hey. I think that interpretive dance speaks for itself.
Yeah.
I think that was a 5 out of 5 for Teddy.
It must have been.
Teddy likes horror, though.
He does. His favorite movie is...
Hereditary?
Hereditary. That's his favorite movie, yeah.
No, he just loves to bring it up to Mom, because it scares her. I can't believe he got her to watch that movie.
I know. Find us on our socials. You know the drill.
Have you heard the podcast, dude? I always put a middle segment. There's a middle segment in there, and I'm like,
why would I listen to my own voice? Why would I listen?
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Anyway, thank you so much for listening.
Okay, anyway. Thank you for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Go see Nope.
Nope.
Yep.
No. Yep.
Okay.